Today's Tips du Jour mailbag question comes to us from Mexico. Robert, I live in a very dry part of Mexico, and I need to solve my lack of humidity problem in my shop. What do you recommend? Juan in Mexico. Juan, I also live in a very dry part of the country here in the United States, in Colorado, and I have solved that problem with this room behind me here. It's just a small portion of my shop, and I have a small one-room humidifier that I got at a drugstore in there taking care of that. Now, the room is small enough that I can walk away for a week or so and not worry about the container of water going dry, because if it does, that's a problem as well. So you got to make sure that you always fill that thing up, keep on top of it, make sure you're supervising the machinery there. If not, you could have bigger issues. That's how I've solved my problem here. I don't humidify my whole shop. I store the guitars in there. I store my supplies in there if I need to, if the guitar is going to a higher humidity environment. But usually for the Colorado market, I can build on the dry side. That's a benefit of living in a dry area. You can store and work in the dry environment. However, there are times when you need to control the whole shop environment. In that case, you're going to need several of those small one-room humidifiers, and that causes a problem. You could go with a bigger unit, more money, more space. Also, sometimes you need to run some plumbing, run a plumbing line to it, and if it leaks, you have issues. So there's a lot of things to consider. Now, a good buddy of mine, Michael Bashkin, up in Fort Collins, Colorado, has solved his problem in his shop. He made his own humidifier, and it's very interesting. Let's go take a look at it. Perhaps you can get an idea from that. So here I am in Michael Bashkin's shop in Fort Collins, Colorado, Bashkin Guitars. By the way, Michael is very well known for his Luthier on Luthier podcast done through the Fretboard Journal. So if you're familiar with that, boy, you already know what I'm talking about. If you're not familiar with that, you should get acquainted with it, because it's really a fantastic series he's got going there.
Thank you.
But we're in his shop here, and he has built his own humidifier. So I'd like to talk to him a little bit about how he did that, and perhaps give you some ideas if you want to do that yourself.
All right. Well, Robbie and I both live in Colorado. It's an extremely dry climate, high elevation.
Say that again.
Yeah, low precipitation. And in addition to building guitars, I also do repairs. And a lot of the local repairs I get are due to humidity issues.
Yes, sir.
So one of the things that's very important for me is to have a very constant and precisely controlled humidity in my shop, so when guitars come in that have some kind of humidity damage, I can rehydrate them up to the proper level in a very controlled manner.
And you solved that problem by just putting in a bunch of fish tanks, right? Is that?
Yeah, but it's just I got to buy a lot of fish food. So, yeah. But actually, after years of trying different humidification systems and looking at commercial systems, which are great, but they're pricey, I came across a system that uses a greenhouse fogger made by houseofhydro.com, and it's been working quite well for me for the last couple of years, and I'm excited to share it with you now.
Let's take a look at it.
All right, great. So these are the components from the system, and these are all available from houseofhydro.com. And this is the Ultrasonic Mister. This has 5 discs, and you can get it anywhere from, I think, 3 up to 12 discs, depending on how much water you want in the air. One of the nice things about these units is that these discs are replaceable, so when they get dirty, damaged, or burn out, you can just spin off this and pop a new disc in there, and supposedly the unit will be good as new at that point. This unit sits inside a float, which sits inside your reservoir tank, like that, and it has an automatic shutoff, so when if it runs out and it hits bottom, this will turn off automatically, because if the unit keeps running and there's no water available, it can burn out. This whole system is powered by this transformer, and the transformer varies a little bit depending on what size discs you get. Also included in the unit is a sensor that monitors the humidity and will send power on and off to the Ultrasonic Mister, so that when your humidity drops below a certain set point, this kicks on. And I'll show you that now. This is the humidistat that comes with the unit, and this monitors the humidity, and when it drops below your set point, which I have here at 45, it sends power to your mist maker and your fan, and it has some little sensors on a very long cord that you can place anywhere in a room. This is the reservoir tank that holds the mist maker that sits in this float. And you can make this tank any size. It could be a swimming pool, it could be a bathtub. In this case, it's about a 30-gallon tote. Buy a good one so it doesn't crack. And what you need to do is punch a hole, which I've done in the back, and that hooks up to a fan, and that provides the air source to blow the mist out. And then this is the power cord that runs to the transformer that powers the mist maker. And I just put this little directional spout here so that the mist kind of gets distributed a little bit better in the shop, but usually I have another fan going to distribute the mist and give me an even humidity throughout the shop. So if we peek in here, there's really not much to it. You can see I've just got water level, and there's the mist maker sitting in its float. It also helps keep the air a little cleaner in the shop because it takes shop air and blows it into the water, and any dust gets deposited in the water and taken out of the air. So here's the unit in operation. You can see it produces plenty of mist. I usually have another fan going in the shop to distribute the humidity, and it also doubles as a discotheque fog machine, so it's covers several bases at once.
Neighbors love it on Halloween too, huh?
They sure do, yeah.
So Juan in Mexico, thank you very much for your question. I hope you found the information that Michael and I have presented here useful. Now, for you guys that live in high humidity environments, you've got the opposite problem. And you need to control it down. You need to somehow bump that humidity down, dehumidify it. Remember, it's always better to do something than nothing. Happy building.